Welcome to NC Political Tea, the show where North Carolina's political scene gets served piping hot, grassroots style. We're here to shake up the status quo with unapologetically conservative takes and a whole lot of Southern charm. From the halls of Congress to under the dome, we're exposing the deals, the drama, and the dirt that the mainstream media won't touch. Who's fighting for your freedom? Who's selling out to the woke mob? And who's about to get roasted? No fluff, no filters, and absolutely no time for spineless politics. Just bold Republican commentary, sharp analysis, and enough sass to make the left squirm. So grab your sweet tea or something stronger, and let's dive into the hottest headlines and juiciest scandals rocking the Tar Heel State. This is NC Political Tea, where the truth always gets served.
The lives of his fellow service members. On July 26, 1945, a Nazi SS officer issued an order over the camp loudspeaker, loud and strong. He said that only American Jews were to show up to roll call following this morning. He added, all who disobey this order will be shot immediately. There were more than 200 Jewish American soldiers in the camp, and Roddy knew their separation from the group would mean certain death. So that night he summoned his team and devised a plan. The next morning, all 1,200 American men fell in line together, shoulder to shoulder. Enraged, the Nazi commandant rushed forward, drew his Luger pistol, and pressed the barrel between Sergeant Edmonds' eyes. He barked at Roddy. They cannot all be Jews, he screamed loud and again, and staring straight back into the raging face of evil. Sergeant Edmonds replied fearlessly, we are all Jews here. The Nazi officer lowered his weapon and the soldiers erupted in cheers. With total disregard for his own life, Roddy had saved over 200 of his fellow service members. Their camp was liberated 2 months later. We're honored to be joined today by Roddy's son, Chris. Please stand up as 19.
I mean, the celebration of great Americans has come at a wonderful time. This is Roddy, the man who was honored by one of 3 recipients today of the Medal of Honor, and it was just great to see this.
It's what this country needs right now. We need a little more thankfulness for these people who put their lives on the line, and we need to be a little more appreciative of being in this country, because a lot of people aren't right now.
No, they're definitely not. Whether they're pain in the asses on the left, Democrats that are basically arguing against our country, or they have infiltrated this country and are trying to blow up everyone in it. So we've got a wide range of it.
It's weird to think that Democrats don't want to fund Homeland Security when we're in the middle of this, knowing that and everybody's known since 9/11, there are cells in America and we've had an open border. So now you have people openly saying we don't want to fund the one group that is supposed to protect the homeland, but mostly it's because this isn't their homeland. If it were, they'd fight harder for it.
Well, they don't want money going to DHS because they want more open borders. They want more illegals, because remember, there's the rub. Some of it is healthcare, but a lot of it is DHS actually funds prioritizing refugees or illegals over prioritizing American citizens. Hell, we found that out during Helene.
Absolutely.
When, money for these illegal hotels, etc. We found out that was a lion's share of the money, so that none was left for Americans who needed it the most.
Well, and listen, I want ICE here more than ever. I want ICE funded here more than ever. I want these people out. And what I've learned, and you have too, is that there are people that live in America that don't appreciate that they have freedom of religion. They want their religion to be our politics.
Correct. That's right. We've had guest after guest on here, whether it's, Dan Barami, who came on last week,
We
John
love Dan.
Gargolo, yeah, who's great. His policy center just opened up today. So,
Saw that.
yeah. So
Proud
we're
of him.
the only thing that we can do at the grassroots. Thank you for that, VM.
Oh, you're sweet.
We will send you your check for that compliment. You'll get it next week. But that's why
Let's get ours first.
elections are important. Grassroots are important. So we're going to talk about elections. Election day is tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we already know the turnout for early vote and what it did in certain areas. And I think that's where we're going to spend a lot of time. But tomorrow is the day. And I just want to preface this conversation with, please check your local board of elections in your county. Make sure you know where your precinct is, because they do change. And if you're planning on going at lunch or certain times, check especially before you leave your office, because there are times when there are issues, especially in Durham and Wake Forest and Wake and all over.
Weird how that happens, right?
Yeah, it is weird. It is weird.
Enclaves that have the problems, right?
Yeah, but make sure you check right before you leave, because they may have extended the hours or changed the voting location, and you want to make sure you know that.
Right. Thank you for that. And you want to make a plan to bring several people. So
And friends.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're working, at a place and you've got an SUV and you can fit, 7 people in, you need to tonight figure out the 6 people you're going to take with you to vote. As long as they're not Democrats, of course.
Tomorrow's a good day to tell your boss, y'all are going to go vote and go to lunch, because they don't know how long it takes to vote.
There you go. You have a 2-hour lunch. No problem.
That's right.
There you go. I like that idea, actually. So
That's what we do.
That's right. 2-hour lunch, baby. So there's a lot of different races going on. We've had all of these candidates on our show for a very good reason. These people are going to dispense completely with the status quo once they get into the House.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about these candidates. I happened to be on X the other day, and somebody was saying something about Mr. Spurl, and I said, I like him. I like the fact that he stood up to his county incumbent, because they lied about school consolidation, which is an issue that I can totally relate to.
Let's talk about that. This guy is in Ed Goodwin's district. Ed Goodwin has been there for maybe, I think at least six terms. Tell us about the story he shared, because he was GOP chair. And my question to him was, so you were really responsible for getting Goodwin elected several times. Something bad must have must have been a turning point for you.
There was a turning point for him. It was when the House member lied to him and hit the constituents about money being spent. And they had a contentious relationship in that county over school consolidation, which they kept thinking that was going to happen, but the money never came through.
So that and a couple of other reasons, he felt that Ed Goodwin was in Raleigh too much and wasn't handling constituent affairs. So
and I think big business. He's ready for some business to come into that county and really help them, or that district, and help them. And I loved the passion in him about that. Yeah,
he's a good candidate. He's actually pretty exceptional. We like him a lot. So when we get to Hager, Hager was in leadership in the House, so he's no stranger to running. And I mean, his videos, I'm telling you, I put some clips up. People have not heard of him.
That's amazing.
They love this guy. I mean, I think he's going to bring massive accountability. And as far as fiscal spending and cutting, this guy's going to be an SOB.
Well, he doesn't like Tillis, which is my first favorite thing about him.
Yeah, right.
But the other thing about Mike Hager that I like is he's very genuine, and he knows that the guy that's there now, who was at one time the youngest House member in North Carolina, Jake Johnson, is a punk. He's not doing his job, and he's hanging out with his girlfriend in California when his constituents are needing help. And so, and listen, I talk to constituents in that area. They're sick of it. New girlfriend every 6 months, always trying to worry about his personal life, not his public life, lying about where he's going to be and not showing up. He will say that he couldn't come to one event because he's at another event, when in fact he's not at either one of the events.
Interesting. And he does take lobbying trips and things like that is another thing that Mike mentioned. And Mike's also mentioned him volunteering during Helene, et cetera. And his opponent was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say that about Jake because I did see Jake do some work
Okay,
during
good.
Helene. Now, I won't say he got on the ground and cleaned up mud because that's not Jake Johnson style at all. He's more like the the Saved by the Bell kind of character that shows up. Oh, look, we got something to do. But he was working to help his constituents a little bit.
Okay.
The concern I have with Jake Johnson is that he's never fully invested in the conversation he's having with someone. And that really bothers me. When your constituents show up at a GOP meeting and they're expecting to see you, they don't want to see you tagging along with some girl that you're spending more time with than you are with them. You got plenty of time for that later.
Okay. So if you're a single guy and you're representative, your girlfriend has to be your constituents and your district. Or at least you have to pretend like that. We don't care about your personal life. We don't give a damn about it when we have our own problems. Sherry Womack, she's a favorite of ours.
Firecracker.
Yeah, full disclosure, her husband is a VIP. I mean, he is Lee County Republican chair, but he also has a conservative coalition, which in North Carolina, if you're running a statewide race particularly, and you want to be elected, you better have him on your side.
Jim and Sherry Womack are exceptional veterans and individuals who deeply care about this country and the state of North Carolina. You know, what I will say, I've never seen two more dedicated people to try to turn the state back to a more grassroots conservative coalition than those two. And Sherry Lynn deeply cares about students and kids in her community. She's worked tirelessly for years on that school board.
So education reform, she's going to be a real SOB. I mean, she's going to push agendas through. When I say that they're a powerful couple, and they really are the power couple of North Carolina for politics, it's important because usually when you're a freshman, you go in with no seniority. You don't know people. People don't trust you. People try to get a lot over on you.
Can't get anything over
her. Damn sure not. Nor Mike Hager. For that.
No, true. Now that's another good thing to talk about. Experience. You know, experience in these positions comes from different ways in different areas. And, you know, one of the things Sherry Lynn said to us is that she really wants to work on education. Yeah. I want someone like her working on education because she was going through the COVID stuff as a school board member. She's seen a lot. I think the other thing I would say is she's got an opponent that's really kind of trashy. Just my opinion. I'm allowed to have one. He seems to be involved in Bill Burger and some gambling. The Shamrock House, Mr. Taylor. We know about your Shamrock House.
Well, we know about a lot of stuff. We know that you've only gotten 500 votes at most. So hate it for you.
Yeah, you can't go up against Sherry Lynn and think you're going to win.
Hate it for you, pal. But these are the races that we're going to watch and the ones that we're going to be talking about tomorrow night when we're on.
House races.
These are the house races. We're going to be talking about a lot. So Ralph Carter, we had him on. He's an orthopedic surgeon out of Scotland County, out of Scotland/Hoke. It's a D+2. So he's got to face a Democrat opponent when he's here, when he comes out. But look, he is, I mean, you want to talk about how, first of all, I don't like doctors serving.
You've said that many times.
I don't, because they're loyal as hell to the AMA, to the hospital lobbyists, etc. Ralph Carter doesn't like those guys at all, by definition. He's a medical freedom guy. He is a MAHA guy.
He's a good old country doctor. We like those kinds.
He is, and he's a very good friend of Mike Huckabee's. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So
that's good to know.
You know, very strong Christian. We definitely need strong moral leadership in our house, for sure. I mean, the house is already great. I mean, in my opinion, I'm kind of a house person. I like a lot of people in there. I like what they're trying to do. I think that a couple of the opponents here, I'm not going to name them, that are being displaced, were dead weight. Right. So can you imagine turbocharging the house with 4 people who want to work, who want to be there, who are experienced and who can change things?
Yeah. And there's some others that are not listed here that we can't wait to see go. Jimmy Dixon, you can leave. Yep. You can exit right. The guys that didn't support concealed carry, Brinson and one other one, I can't remember, Jones, I think it was. Y'all can go.
Wait, Jones.
I think that was his last name. I may be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be Davis. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It could
Ted
be
Davis.
Davis.
Ted
I think
Davis.
it's Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all can go.
He's in the Senate.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't care. He can go.
Senate is a different animal here. So, okay. So let's look at Lee County because we're going to get in the numbers here a little bit. This is Sherry Lynn Womack's race. So tonight we're going to be comparing this to 2022, guys. And let me tell you why. We want to compare apples and apples. So 2022 was a midterm with a Senate race on the top of the ticket.
Off-cycle election, a primary.
So, right, a primary, and it was kind of, similar. So that's going to be our base of comparison. So look, this is 2022. Okay. This is, you can see 1,000.
That's just party, right? We're just looking at party lines.
For primary. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unaffiliated. I don't know. I don't know what that is because I think we're looking at ballots.
No, what that tells you is these people pulled the ballot. Unaffiliated can pull either a Democrat or Republican ballot.
Well, I know, but here's the issue: is that this is ballots pulled. So usually they can only pull one, right? So
no, that's ballots pulled. Oh no, that should be the ballots pulled.
I understand. I know, but let me tell you where I'm getting my numbers from, and let me tell you how it is. Okay, so we're getting the numbers from the John Lott dashboard. All right, so it's the clearinghouse of places. So sometimes I will go there and look at ballots pulled. So I want to tell the audience what that means. You can be an unaffiliated, but you got to pull one ballot. Democrat, Republican, right? So some of these, when I go and I look at it, ballots pulled will still tell me unaffiliated. It'll be less unaffiliated than ballots pulled. Okay. So I just want to let you know, Margot, so we're on the same page.
All right. Because I was like, what the hell?
I know. I'm putting up the data that is. But look at this. Regardless, 2,074. Look at the excitement. Right? And I can tell you, is it the Senate race? I don't know. Is it Sherry Lynn's race? I'll bet it is. So this is some pretty good excitement.
It's pretty good for the size county that Lee County is. And it's neck and neck right there, which we know the norm is that the Republicans really turn out on election day. So if that's what it looks like there, you can see, you can pretty much tell the Republicans are really going to turn out on tomorrow.
Right. And I've run campaigns before, and I can tell you every time we have been up in early voting, we've won. So as a campaign, Republican campaign, if you're up in early voting, you have so much less of a hill to climb, right? Now, we don't know clearly who those votes went to, right? It just says Republican. But if you're up, it's a pretty good start. Okay. Now, have you heard about this race? This is a race that's in, guys, if you're in Cabarrus County, it's right up around there, Cabarrus County. And so let me tell you about this race. Chris Meismer was appointed to serve this role because his predecessor moved on to another role. So the Meismer race, we thought would be non-contentious. We didn't even at the beginning think that he would have a primary opponent. But enter in Kevin Crutchfield. Kevin was in the House, and originally he faced a guy named Brian Echevarria, who you already know, right? We always have him on our show. So he's battling Kevin. Kevin has been kind of a dirty dealer for a while, and we've known that because he's got marijuana money coming in, he's got gambling money. So get this, an outside super PAC financed with DraftKings link money, heavily spending on mailers that are opposing Chris Meismer. Now, Chris is definitely a MAGA Republican, but they're labeling him as rhino and criticizing him, actually distorting his record, Margot.
Yeah, well, they don't want to talk about that. Crutchfield is pro-life. I mean, pro-choice.
Pro-choice.
He doesn't. He's a scummy guy.
He is, and he was a dirty campaigner against Brian.
Well, and here's the funny part for me. Normally, when I go talk to people in these counties, I trust who they offer me as a candidate because I've worked with them in the past. But I had one try to slide that one in on me, and I was like, no.
No, Crutchfield has a very dubious distinction, and he'll do anything to win, including misrepresent facts. So no make good.
Well, if they lie during the campaign, they'll lie like a dirty bad rug through the whole time they're in office.
That's what he's going to do. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is a Democrat primary.
Why'd you
Now-
put him in a suit and not in his pastor collar? I'm just kidding.
Well, I just did. This guy is let me tell you what he is. He's a Al Sharpton type of a guy. But Carla Cunningham was the Democrat who voted alongside of Republicans to get sheriffs to cooperate with federal law, to get them to cooperate with ICE. And so what happened?
Josh Stein said, "Oh no, we can't have any more of that." Our own governor endorsed that Rodney Sadler dude, who, by the way, is very hypocritical.
Well, we have
And
all the
also
Democrats.
he was also born in Philadelphia, if that matters. I think it does.
I know you don't like anyone that's not born here, and I
don't-
get you because this is.
It's, I know. No, that's
And so-
not true. You can acclimate, but if you're going to be a wild card like that one, no, big no.
Yeah, no, I get you. But the whole Democrat infrastructure has tumbled on Carla Cunningham because she wants ICE to do their job. So that should tell you a lot about the Democrat Party in North Carolina.
Listen, I don't publicly say things about Democrats often, but I've had conversations in DMs with her, and I know some people who sent her some money because I can't, but I know people that did.
Well, let's keep that to ourselves because
No, I'm not going to keep it to myself.
Republicans helping Carla Cunningham will not help her tomorrow in the primary.
That's true. You know,
So let's-
people have to get out and vote, and there have to be people at the polls to help her.
Right. There's got to be good common sense people that are going to vote to make sure that laws are followed. So this is the
Biggest shakeup
showdown,
ever.
man. Do you know? Listen, this is the one. I mean, this is a big deal. We've had Sam Page on the show many times. I mean, if we can get out Phil Berger, who is, we believe, corrupt, I think is fair to say.
Well, you know, let's be honest. We have people candidly tell us that he strangleholds the Senate
Yes.
and rules with an iron fist.
And he's got lobbyists working out the poll, driving 3 hours to work for him at the polls. And get this, he is having his staff work at polls for him while we pay their salary. This is an excellent sign. I hope these are everywhere. Tell us about this issue.
Well, so we know that we have and listen, I just want to say this. You need to associate Phil Berger with Roy Cooper because they both did that together. They sold us out farmland, and pork production facilities to China. And I would say that, you know, it's a two-headed coin. Berger on one side, Cooper on the other.
Well, that neither one of them are good. I mean, he'll say that he's supported by Donald Trump, etc. But so was Tom Tillis. So is John Thune. So are a host of people. Hell,
So is Michael Watley.
Yeah. So was God. I mean, sorry, but a whole host of terrible characters.
Yeah, listen, these people that get really upset with me for not going with the Trump endorsement, I have a brain. You may not think so, but I've actually met Michael Watley and worked with him or not. And I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want a man who, when he finds out there's women running for office, says, who's going to do all the work?
Well,
Now let's get back to these guys.
Let's get back to these guys. I think when we look at turnout, Margot, it is astounding.
Unbelievable.
Rockingham, I think it's up 200%. And why would it be? Because people are excited about this race.
Listen, the race reminds me a lot of the county commissioner meeting about gambling that happened there when people they didn't have enough room for people in the room. This race is indicative of how the people in that particular district feel. They're willing to get up and go vote because they're tired of it.
They don't want casinos. They don't want legalized pot. They don't want to be, not listened to. Look, I read somewhere today, $8.6 million between independent and expenditure PACs and his own spending. What in the actual hell?
Yeah,
What?
well, I think it's more than just they're sick of Phil Berger. They're ready to take down the Berger mafia because it's not just Phil Berger. He's got his son in politics. He's got another one that's a judge. He's got his law partners or his law partners. I can't figure out who that is that they put up to run. He ran for lieutenant governor, I think. Like there's a mafia of them. It's the club, just like we have in Cherokee County. And people are sick of it.
They are sick of it. And, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So if it were a Democrat who had been in power that long, if it were, a libertarian, anyone, I mean, you need to have term limits. I mean, this guy's been in 22 years. You need to have term limits. He has accrued quite a gang of influential people, and he rules with an iron fist, as you said.
Yeah. Also, he's been the demise of several candidates. Let's be honest with each other. He stood on that stage for Mark Robinson, and as soon as Tom Tillis knifed him in the back, he walked away. And I just felt like that was
Tom Tillis is another example of a poor leader. So, in fact, I can't even say he's a leader.
Well, he's a crybaby. I mean, he's not getting his way, so let's get some more attention.
He's what we call a schmuck.
Yeah. Well, that's a good word for him, actually.
He's just a schmuck. All right. So this is exciting because when we look at the turnout numbers, you're gonna love this when we got it coming up. By the way, what do you think of my graphics?
Your graphics are phenomenal.
We've stepped up the graphic department.
Yeah. And it's not AI. Just kidding. It could be this time.
Well,
yeah, this one's
punishing the
contentious race right here.
This is a hell of a race. So you've got Asa Buck. This is your candidate, right? You've got Lori Buckout, okay, and Bobby Hainig. So we're going to step in, and you're going to first go and tell us about Asa Buck and why you like him.
I like him because he was a law enforcement officer. He was a sheriff. Sure. He's law and order, and he tells the truth. And he doesn't hang out with scummy people, unlike the other two.
Okay. Well, we're going to differ a little bit here. Look, Lori Buckout, she ran last time up in Congressional District 1 when it was smaller, and she went up against our friend Sandy Smith, right? Sandy lost, and she ended up getting the nomination, and poor performance, I think, against Dawn Davis, who she's going against again. So, and I felt she's been dishonest. I think it's been very misleading. Well, let me just say, she's intimating that she's endorsed by Trump in this cycle and this election. She's not, but I can't tell if it's her doing it or that stupid, bloated windbag Henry Hinton, who's over there, who's on the radio bullshitting 24/7.
Listen, Lori Buckout left her position in the Trump administration saying that she was ill, but she's not too ill to run. So my concern with Lori Buckout is that she's very dishonest. She tries to act like she's from North Carolina. She's not. She's from Minnesota. Her sister hates her. That's bad when your sister gets online and talks crap about you. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying. And the worst part for me,
crazy sisters, I don't know, but
yeah, but the worst part for me is don't sit there and lie about Sandy Smith and what you think of her background when you got your own.
It did get very tawdry during the primary last year, didn't it? Or last time?
Don't throw stones if you don't have if you got a glass house, a $2.3 million one on the water.
And not from here. That's the biggest disqualifier of all for Margo, not from here.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be a disqualifier if she weren't so fake about it. And here's the other part. I have a sneaking suspicion, which I've said before, that Greg Murphy helped her get on the ballot. And I don't particularly care for him.
No, but again, another doctor, another deceitful doctor, another America Last doctor who I would love to see a primary mounted against. So
that's just my opinion. And then we can talk about Bobby. Oh, Bobby.
Okay. Well, Bobby and I like him. I've known him for a long time. He's been very supportive of some of the initiatives we've passed. And I will say that he has come out strong against Phil Berger, which I haven't noticed very many people do that.
Well, Phil Berger doesn't like him. Let's be honest with each other. So if you don't like me, maybe I don't like you. I'm just saying that's part of it. But I will give him some very big kudos. He was instrumental in the shrimp gate thing. He
Mhm.
really stood by the people in his district. And I appreciate that for him. I just don't appreciate the fact that he'll take an endorsement from just about anybody that lies to give him one. And I don't like the company that he keeps. I just don't.
Well, that is
Politically speaking.
look, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I've given you some pretty thin reasons why I support Bobby. To be honest with you, I'm not able to make a case of it. But look, I've asked some people today in that area, who's doing well. And I was in Carteret County a week ago. And Asa has a very good reputation, is very solid. The people I've talked to favor him to win.
There's another candidate out there, though, that really nobody's talking about, Eric Rouse. I think he's going to get a little bit more votes than people think. I don't know that much about him other than he's a small business owner and, he's involved in the community. But, listen, that's a four-way race. It's going to be nuts. Let's just be honest. I feel like stability counts and law and order matters.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I'm going to put up this one because this is a big one.
You gonna put her up?
So I wish I could put her out.
Canadian?
We've got an Islamist infiltrator.
The Canadian Islamist.
Canadian, yeah, who wants to have Sharia law everywhere and she said she wants to be Mandani, but she is primarying Valerie Fushi. I'm looking at the turnout numbers and I'm scared. Because this woman is going to join the squad and she's going to be from North Carolina. She is freaking hideous.
Well, Durham should be embarrassed, but listen, Valerie knew this was coming. To put this off to the last minute is kind of sad because she knew this was coming. She had plenty of time and lots of money. She could have been going after her for a year, and she waited until 6 months, maybe 4 months in, to take this lady seriously, and that's her mistake.
Yeah, no, that is dumb. That is dumb. We had Dan on here last week who spoke pretty strongly about what the agenda and plan is for Islamist candidates. And so I'm just going to put this up here and let you hear it from him. She's going to be Mandani times 10 in Congress. What does that mean?
Well, I always say that this is not a good time for physical jihad, military jihad, because the Islamic countries are not capable of waging jihad against the enemies of Allah. So they had to come up with other forms of jihad. And this is policy jihad. What is policy? Policy is literally translating ideas into laws. You take an idea and through policy formation, you make it a law, and then you use the channels of policy enforcement, law enforcement, to enforce that idea.
Okay, so that scares the hell out of me. Policy jihad.
Listen, what I said earlier, I meant when you turn your freedom of religion into your politics and you expect to rule me with yours, no, thank you. That's not how this country operates.
Yeah, and that's what she's all about. So look for this. This is District 4. I'll tell you, I'm in partial District 4. Went out to go early vote the other day. She had a team of 7 people out there at the polls. That also scared the shit out of me.
Where did she come from in politics, though, Sloan? I mean, I know she's from Canada. I know she came down here and
DSA. Well, she's in city council in Durham. This is a DSA. This is how they work to advance communist candidates. I'm telling you, this is what they do. They do a rope-a-dope in these primaries, right, where they don't think a lot of people are going to come in. And that's how they get it. They get in a saturated Democrat district, which she's done. I believe it's plus 12 in NC4. So whoever wins this is going to DC.
Well, I think it's shameful because, listen, I don't care for either one of these candidates, but I want to say one good thing about Valerie Fushi, whatever her name is, Fushi. Anyway, right after COVID happened, a bunch of North Carolinians were looking to get a bill sponsored called the Compassionate Care Bill, which doesn't sound like the same thing that we know of now. And she and Don Davis were the two that stood up to sponsor it, where you could designate one person in your family, no matter what was going on, they could not be held out of the hospital or the elderly care facility. They were able to go in and check on someone at their own peril. Of course, they had to pay for PPE and all that, but she stood up and sponsored that with Don Davis. And I have to tell you, that gave, you know how I feel about elderly people in nursing homes. I want to give her some credit for that. I'm really kind of mad at her that her team waited till the last minute to really get in the game, though.
Well, that might be their undoing. And that's
True.
terrible. It's terrible for the entire country. So I'm kind of saving the best for this point. Okay. So I have to tell you, man, I mean, the energy for Don is really out there. I mean, everything. Look, I shared this clip. I'm going to put this clip up. We had an interview on Sunday. It was a terrible hair day for me. Don't hold it against me. It was after yoga.
We all have
So,
'em.
but he brought up a really important point, and I want to talk about it with you after I put it up there. But I think you're
to my opponent.
I-
More than
okay. There's the one mistake. Okay. Now,
President Trump's judicial nominees, more than half of them have not been approved. For U.S.
Correct.
attorneys, more than half have not been approved. And U.S. ambassadors, there are 195 around the world. Only 82 Trump-appointed ambassadors have been approved. We don't have a Trump ambassador in Russia or Ukraine or the Philippines or New Zealand. And these are, or Germany. So you have Biden holdovers in these crucial, because John Thune goes on recess and doesn't allow recess appointments. And our people, we're exposing this. And so North Carolina Republicans are frustrated. If we get our message out, we win this going away.
okay. So that is without a doubt. There's a lot, because John Thune, the guy who's in charge of slow walking things, of taking vacations when he's not supposed to, he's the one that endorsed Michael Whatley. This is ridiculous. He endorsed this candidate who really, I mean, Michael Whatley's not a veteran. He's never been a prosecutor.
He's never been a practicing attorney until he worked for the RNC.
I mean, he's not, dudes. He's not qualified. You got a man that's a military historian, former JAG, federal prosecutor. No, there's nothing that I can talk about with foreign policy that he cannot keep up with. I could never have that conversation with Michael Whatley. Never.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how internally it's really torn the party up, though, because, listen, I get on those Facebook sites and see them go after it. And I'm never going to vote for Michael Whatley. I don't care what you say. I don't care if I don't care if the Pope says we have to. I'm not voting for him.
Doing a damn thing the Pope says. That guy is left as hell. Forget about it.
I should not have used the Pope as the example, but the point I'm trying to make is
follow, and you mean this guy, the Pope. Let me just tell you something. We had a horrible Islamic terror attack on Sunday morning. My God, in Austin. I just saw a boy that was killed. Look, a boy. I mean, he was 21. He looks like my son. Just their money.
Good-looking kid. I saw him.
Yeah, and then the Pope comes out and says, "God, you guys, have you tried? You guys, meaning Christians, Jews, and everybody else. Have you ever tried just sitting down and talking with Islamists?"
Yeah, no. There's a difference between talking to a Muslim person and an Islamist. And that's crazy talk that he just said.
I don't like the Pope. So whoever he told me to vote for, I wouldn't do it.
Well, the fact that he allows these NGOs to use the Catholic name to bring all these people in the country, and he promotes, listen, the Pope writes the service that gets disseminated around the world. He promotes this crap. I'm not Catholic, first of all. Secondly, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm done with that. I'm done. Okay, so, all right, here's the deal. 2022. I'm telling you, I'm labeling this the way it is labeled. Okay. All right.
I got it.
Ballots requested. 2022. Remember, we're comparing apples and apples, people. Okay. Look at the numbers for the Republican and the Democrat. Okay. Now, I don't think it'll surprise you. there's hell of a lot more enthusiasm for Democrats. Because
In early
last
voting,
time,
for sure.
yeah, in the early voting, yeah. But in the early, if people are early voting and they're doubling it and they're killing the game, they're pumped up. Not doubling, but they're pumped up, right? And who ran against Tillis last time? Sherry Beasley. Okay, this is during Sherry Beasley, right? This is sort of, and there's a lot of early voting. Remember, that can be done by mail.
Wait, was it Sherry Beasley or Cal Cunningham? The Democrat. Remember, because
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, Cal Cunningham and the barbecue fiasco.
There you go. And the Zippergate. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beasley ran against Newby.
Yes, at this point. Yes. Pardon me, guys. All right. So 294. So we're up, we're up a little bit. Now, that could be a byproduct of now being educated, thoroughly educated during the last election cycle to early vote, bank your vote, etc. That campaign might have been so effective that we're just in the habit of that.
That's not what happened. I mean, it was right after COVID. People were not going to, subject themselves to voting, going out there and voting. And they just still, even Republicans did early voting or absentee voting, same, whatever. But here's the deal. We're in a different position now because there are more Republicans registered in North Carolina than Democrats. And that's the first time it's happened, I think, ever. So I am shocked to see now what the numbers look like.
Well, I mean, the top of the ticket drives enthusiasm typically. The top of the ticket is the Don Brown race. Yeah. Let's see. All right. So here's something you might find interesting.
Well, I'm not surprised at that at all. Although I do think it's funny that almost 30,000. I was going to say, I find it funny there's 30,000 people that don't designate their sex.
I mean, that's a little rude, but females are 100,000.
I thought that was against the law in North Carolina now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just putting the data out there as I get it. I'm trying not to, interpolate any of my own stuff. Yeah. But so women are out there crushing it, but that doesn't surprise me. I mean, women are, okay. So congressional turnout, look, 2022. I don't know where this color code come from. Okay. So these are in numerical order, or actually these are.
You're missing a couple.
Oh shit. You know what? We're not going to look at that. We're going to look at this. This is in order. Okay. Right there in order. 11. What did 11 do last time? I'm missing 11.
You're missing 11 and 10. I don't see 10 on there. Oh, there's 10.
I have to tell you too. Last week we talked about ChatGPT and Gronk uploading your health records.
Who would do
getting
that?
A second opinion. I think we've just illustrated right here that you don't ever want to do that.
Listen, I got a notice this past week that I can call Amazon. I can add to my Amazon Prime and I can use telemedicine through Amazon. No, I'm not doing that.
No, if somebody misdiagnoses me, I want to know who the hell they are and I want to be able to bring their neck.
That's right.
I need a doctor with like gray hair.
Anyway, that was my tangent for the night.
Well, I've had.
All right, so let's look at this. Look at that. Okay, so this is this voting, and that's my district at the top. Who's in 4? Is that Durham?
4 is Durham. 4 is the Durham district. That is the Valerie Foushee congressional district. Yes.
1 is the Buckout showdown.
Yep.
5. Who's 5? I don't know who 5 is off the top of my head.
I'm going to show you. Hold on. Okay, 5 is Watauga. Up here. So,
yeah.
Right.
That's Appalachian State University.
This is Raleigh area. Now, this one in 5, they're dominated by Republicans.
Except that one county. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like our district normally.
So let me show you that there's District 5 is crushing the game. Okay, that's
growth wise,
etc. Yeah. Okay. And early voting. All right. And then District 14.
That's Tim Moore.
Yep. They're doing well, very well. And then District 2. Okay, that's Raleigh. That's where I am. That's one part of Wake County. There's a lot of there's a few House races, and by the way, that's mostly Democrats. Okay, a lot of House races there, and there are and a lot of city council. Okay, top swing districts, right here.
514, same ones.
Is it?
Looks like the same ones.
You know, it does.
Yeah.
Okay. I tried to be too cute by half and did my stuff with AI.
It's all right. It's all right.
We're really kind of learning. But when you look at the top precinct, yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, top precinct is number one is one in Brunswick County. It's called Mosquito.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're very strong.
I was asking you about that this morning. I wondered where that was.
They're very strong. And number two would be Flowers, and that's in Johnston County. And
so that's good to hear.
Yeah, Johnston County is bumping. Johnston and Brunswick were always great for us, and Union County as well. Union County is one of the top 10.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that District 11 out on top of the vote, because there's some concerns here and people need to know it. We have 2 Republican candidates and the Democrats have like 5 candidates, but the DNC has put their money behind Jamie Auger in that district, or my district. My concern is the voting that came in Haywood County was great. Came in, Republicans, kind of at the top. I want to just set the scene. The surrounding counties to Buncombe are the ones you have to worry about, right? Buncombe is always going to be the most Democratic county because that's Trashville. But what concerns me the most is when I look at Henderson County, which is where the district chair for the Republicans are, and they had more Democrats come out than Republicans.
Yeah, what is she doing? I've not heard much of what
she had a meeting tonight, which I missed on purpose because, you're going to ask me tonight what we're doing about the vote?
Really? You're me. Why would you do that?
Why wouldn't we be doing that a week and a half or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? But so Henderson County turned out with more Democrats. Madison County turned out with more Democrats. Of course, the stronghold of Buncombe had more Democrat turnout. Haywood surprised me. They didn't. They actually pulled for the Republicans, and that county really didn't go red until Trump hit the scene. I think 2020 was their first real red wave. So we're watching something that's sort of interesting out here, because if these counties don't pick up the pace for the Republicans tomorrow, there's a really big showdown coming up in November, and Jamie Auger could easily beat Chuck Edwards because Chuck is a dork.
Okay, so what you said is something we need to look for. I mean, Trump is a lame duck in terms of he's on the back half. He'll be on the back half of his final term, right? I don't mean lame duck in terms of non-effectiveness. So in a midterm anyway, usually who's sitting in office can be unpopular. There's a shitload that's changed from this week, from last week. We have a war now, right? So completely
conflict.
Different.
It's a conflict.
So anyway, it's, and then Trump and Trumpism. I mean, there's no successor. Typically it's like, the vice president will be in or whatever. I mean, it's just sort of the vice president could F up a 1-car parade. This is not who we want in charge. So you've got a lot of people, well, like me, I'm always going to vote Republican. I mean, but you've got a lot of people who came with Trump who see that he's not going to be on the ballot. So maybe I won't vote in the midterms.
I don't know. I'm really, listen, first of all, let's see what JD Vance does in comparison to Kamala Harris when she had the borders. Now he's got all the fraud. I'm going to start seeing some arrest records shortly. But I think also it's going to be really hard to top Marco Rubio. It just really is going to be hard to top his performance.
Well, I mean, he said, now look, I know why he did it, but he said a couple of times, well, if JD Vance is going to run, then I'm not going to oppose him. But if you had to work with a malevolent snake like JD Vance with Tucker Carlson in your back pocket, you would be saying a lot of shit that you didn't actually mean, just so he wouldn't go after you.
Well, and it's still young. It's still young, in the race kind of attitude, outlook. I really think the defining moment is going to be right after the November, election. I think we're
Mm.
really going to start seeing the momentum pick up. It always does. And I think you're really going to have to be able to see something on the board. If we don't start seeing some arrests, if we don't start seeing some people go down for some crime, Marco Rubio, come on, he's already, freed Venezuela. He's at
I mean,
he's got the drug lord down. He's about to go after Cuba. We're in the middle of taking down Iran.
well, look, I mean, if you look at the situation room during Venezuela, JD Vance was nowhere to be found. He was nowhere to be found in the situation room with Iran. It's clear that they're keeping him out of these situations. The reason is because Tucker Carlson, who is enemy number one of this country, his son works in that office. JD Vance has made it clear that he is in love, absolutely in love with Tucker Carlson. That's his bra. He is not going anywhere. And if you question him, by damn, you're a scumbag, right? Jim, actually, yes, a scumbag with bling.
That's right, Jim Bob.
Not just any
She's
scumbag.
blinging it.
So, I get adrenalized by this, but we want somebody that is a commander. We want somebody we can, look up to, etc. JD Vance pissed me off and a lot of evangelicals when he came out like a couple days before this war and he said, I love the interview that Tucker Carlson did with Huckabee. I think it's just the thing that the right should be having now. The right. That's sabotage to me, because if you're saying Republicans, our group needs to be talking about giving Jews a blood test, lies about Israel, that proves to me he didn't know anything about this conflagration. This is the first issue, or what did you call it? Mission. First mission in the history where Israel and the U.S. were going to partner to go in and do this. The first one in history. So I find it interesting that 2 days before this happened, JD is like, oh, yeah, we need to talk about how terrible Israel is. We need to talk about how Israel is controlling the U.S. We need to talk about how Israel is treating Christians badly, which is an abject lie.
Sloan, I think the concern I have is there are so many people in this country that believe him for that. And that is it's shocking to me. I never realized it until, I would say in the last year, but it's also really sad because it tells me there's a lot of people in this country that are not educated.
You're right.
But they appear to be, these are people that you normally would think are pretty intelligent. And then all of a sudden they say some insanity.
We used to have people in our clique like that. And I will tell you, I want to know what you think about this. We started pulling away from Fox News and from some others in favor of podcasts, I think after the 2020 election, right? We started saying, and I've been on Steve Bannon's show a dozen times in the past. I was on Stu Peters' show. I've been on these shows before. Do you know what I mean? And then they turn. Mm-hmm. So in other words, we have gotten half of our party into some sort of mental illness where we don't trust any authority, like none. Like now that the FBI is being run by different, don't trust them. Now that Trump's doing, there's no trust. And now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But I would like to give you a different perspective. I think that Gen Xers are rebels in and of themselves, and they're the biggest distrusting generation out there. And they have kids who they've said, don't believe that to all their lives. We're not talking about the millennials because those guys just passively went along with it and are still the biggest baby generation of all, whiner wise. But now they got Gen Z kids who are like their parents who are like, nah, we're not going with that. We're not watching real television. That ain't going on. And so to me, it's a generational thing that I see happening because Gen X was just like punk rock and in your face and double middle fingers. And,
we started watching podcasts. I mean, I started doing that. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to this. I'm not going to.
But that's your nature. That's the rebellion in you.
It is. I'm a rebel.
And I think that's good. But I think that people are not conscientious of where their predisposition is,
Right. And if you're listening to these things, I mean, I'm reading about a lot of women who are stay-at-home moms, who are upper middle class, etc., listening to Candace Owens. I'm in
I'll listen
shock.
to that. I ain't listening to her. She whined about a mayor talking racism, which he did do, but that was her best friend's dad.
Well, I mean,
And
she
she
goes
just,
to soap opera. It's like listening to your day. This is the way it's described to me. Listening to your daily soap opera.
Listen, do y'all remember there used to be this show called Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman? It was the craziest soap opera show. It made fun of soap operas. That is Candace Owens now.
Well, it's scary as hell because a lot of people are, I mean, there has been violence done by people, murders, where they're listening to Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, etc. So this is a social disease, kind of like trans.
Well, it all goes back to like, the internet is not real. And you have to do your own research. And if you blindly follow anyone, whether it's me, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, no, I don't want to be in their league. You know, I don't care who it is. You're dumb. Don't be following people and going, oh my God, they're the smartest people on earth. That is not true.
Well, what's crazy
That's
to me
fun.
now, I think it's funny as hell, is that now they're Democrats. Now Steve Bannon, now Tucker Carlson. See, who is Tucker Carlson going to complain about? Because Iran rained down missiles in his Qatar. Too bad they didn't shoot a Tomahawk through his living room, which would have been awesome. But
Stop.
Why?
I just don't wish bad on people. I don't care if I don't
He's
like
not
them.
living there. Wait a minute, wait, stop. He bought a house there. He's living in Maine, but he bought a house there. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it would go through his living room and he'd have to rebuild, right? So look, I mean, Iran has attacked Arab nations, and so they're still defending Iran. Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly today said that Mark Levin, me, probably Ben Shapiro, and all the other Jews, this is our war, and we're controlling. Let's see, President Trump, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio.
I cannot get over the whole, first of all, the AIPAC thing just drives me crazy because if anybody did any research, it's not the largest PAC out there. Secondly, it's American Jews. Who cares? Yeah. They can do PAC money just like the medical board, the big pharma people do, but it's AIPAC. And the first time somebody says that to me is the first time I go, you're dumbass.
Even that dumbass Michelle Morrow, that twisted.
Like, we didn't even bring her up. We didn't even talk about her in this race. She sent the stupidest email out yesterday. I had to laugh.
So irrelevant. This is
No, but listen, Sloan. The first line is, "You're not picking a lawyer." I'm like, where's your head? You thinking about your divorce here, Michelle?
She's acting as a lawyer in her own divorce case. So.
That's funny. It's just funny. All right, we're at time, but we've had a lot of fun conversation. I want to talk about tomorrow because tomorrow night's going to be fun.
Tomorrow night's going to be fun. I think we've decided on 10.
Yeah, 9:30, 10, somewhere in there.
Stay posted. 9:30 or 10 will be on. I'm working at the poll all day, guys. If you're in Rockingham County, come see me. I'm working for Sam Page and I'm working for Don Brown. So competitors, you can eat your heart out because I'm working for the best tomorrow. So I'm going to have some updates for you guys, and everybody get out and vote.
Yeah, don't forget to get out and vote. I think it's 7 to 7 or 7 to 7:30. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Go check your website. Go check the website and see what time. Take somebody out to breakfast, and then if you get to breakfast and you want to do it again, take some more people at lunch and just take a longer lunch.
Don't vote again, but go take.
No, don't vote again. Oh, by the way, I do want to say one thing. You can take your phone into the voting area. You cannot take a picture of your ballot. Mm-hmm. But if you have a ballot on your phone that you've gotten, you can take it in. You just cannot take a picture of your ballot.
Right. Because we've sent you guys some. So if you need that picture,
let us know.
All right. All right, guys. Well, hold on. Let me send my outro video. Okay. I think we are ready to go.
That's a wrap on today's NC Political Tea. We hope you're leaving sharper, spicier, and ready to take on the political craziness in the Tar Heel State. If you loved what you heard, or even if it made you mad, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this show with your friends, family, and that one coworker who just needs the truth. Follow us on social media to stay in the loop and get your daily dose of conservative fire. And remember, here in North Carolina, the grassroots grows stronger when we stand together. Until next time, keep the faith, keep up the fight, and don't let the left water down your tea. This is NC Political Tea, where we spill it like it is.